predictable as to my location. And since the other team doesn't have a CV and we do, and if my teammates were players who regularly took CV, they would be CVing the entrances to the jungle to try to find their jungler, which is the main purpose of having a CV, is to find their jungler and reduce the advantage of hidden information that we talked about earlier. If my teammates were people who regularly took CV, then I would probably have pretty good tabs on where the Nunu was, and I could just not jungle if he's near me or if it was somewhere where I thought he could steal creeps. So he's had to retreat back to the jungle. He's lost a bunch of XP. He lost gold on the ward, which is going to slow his jungle down. And he hasn't slowed me down, like, barely at all. You see that this lizard is still totally up. He might be able to come in and try to hijack the lizard. But by this point, my lane mates are quite high level. And Nunu's not that high of a level. So we'll be able to just cut him off as he approaches. Or as he tries to leave, and just kill him on his way out. Especially if I had bottom lane teammates, which I know. So you see that there are ways to successfully defend against counter jungling, and it really helps. If you defend against counter jungling, you see that Nunu is doing really quite poorly right now, and my teammates are not paying much attention. But otherwise, if they were, they would be coming. And he has the Blue Ghost again. Nunu is really quite behind. Compared to me, because I have buffs and he doesn't, and I'm much closer to 4 than he is. And now, because he's so behind, I can even counter jungle him a bit. I can just come in here and be like, no, I'm going to take these wolves. And Rammus tries to stop me, but Rammus has been set behind in his lane a bit, so I'm actually happy to fight him. Buffs give you a huge power potential, as you can see there. Just having buffs makes you much stronger than the other team. Even though Rammus was a higher level than me, yeah, he was a little low on mana and he didn't actually hit me with that Powerball. But just because I had that red buff, and I didn't even play that fight very well. I could have flash dodged some of his attacks, like I could have flashed back so that he had to run through my W some more. I could have hit E a little more often. I could have kited him around using my red buff. But just because I had that red buff for the extra damage, even though I was a lower level, I was just able to kill him. So that's how having buffs makes you much stronger than not having buffs. And with that, I think we're done discussing junglers. So, just as a quick recap, as I am leaving this game now, what we've covered are the different types of jungler, and which heroes fill those roles really well right now. If you want information specifically on each hero, you can check out my other builds, my other videos. I've played a lot of these heroes in the jungle and can give you basic ideas on how to go through. Another good resource is Stonewall008's YouTube channel. He has like good jungle paths, fast jungle paths. Not always the safest jungle paths, and I don't recommend using all of his jungle paths in a real game, because they're built on the fastest jungle time, not the most safe or full of utility, or like with best gank points. But he can give you an idea if you're not sure how to build or jungle a champion of what to do. But basically, any champion that can jungle, so anyone on this list and a bunch of others, there's a bunch of others that can jungle but are kind of bad at it. You can just buy cloth 5 pots, start golem if your team pulls for you, do golem, wolves, wraiths, little golems, lizard. Maybe you have to base in between, but if so, just buy boots, come back, do the lizard, and then gank. And then at level 4, gank. That's a very standard path. The other main path that people do is to do little golems, wraiths, wolves, big golem, lizard. With some variations, like you can base in there, you can cycle through the small camps again because they'll respawn. And that's on heroes that don't really need the blue buff, so they don't use a lot of mana or any mana. Like Tryndamere, for example, obviously doesn't need blue buff, so he can just start at the little golems. Master Yi often starts at the little golems because he doesn't need that much mana. Nocturne and Lee Sin certainly can. Nocturne often does. There's some basic things like knowing which camps will get you level 2 right off the start. That's the bus camps and the small golems will get you level 2 if you're running the XP masteries instantly. So those are good camps to start with generally because level 2 will help you go much faster. We learned how to identify the correct lanes to gank. We talked about counter jungling, dragon control, all kinds of things. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative and helpful. And thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much to my able-bodied assistants. Round of applause for them. And you guys can unmute and take a bow now if you would enjoy doing so.
I am the best Maokai player.
Yep, Ben Maokai it up like a boss.
All will fear my saplings.
Indeed. So yeah, thanks for watching, and GG.